The Garden's Secret, a story about a garden and the secrets that grow there. Iris had 43 garden gnomes scattered throughout her backyard, and she loved every single one of them. They lined the garden path with their painted smiles and pointed hats, peeked out from behind rose bushes, and stood sentinel by the bird bath. Some people thought collecting garden gnomes was tacky, but Iris didn't care. In her private sanctuary, surrounded by high wooden fences and thick hedges, she could be exactly who she wanted to be. Which was why, on this particular Wednesday afternoon, she was sunbathing topless on her favorite blanket. Iris worked from home as a graphic designer, which meant she rarely had to face the world's judgment. At 28, she'd spent years being told her body was wrong, too soft, too curvy, breasts too large, thighs too thick. She'd learned to hide, to dress in layers, to make herself smaller. But here, in her garden, she could be free. The sun felt glorious on her bare skin. She stretched, arching her back, feeling powerful and sensual in a way she never allowed herself anywhere else. The rational part of her brain knew no one could see her. The fences were 7 feet tall, the nearest house was 50 yards away through dense trees. She was completely alone, and yet, there was a thrill in it, wasn't there? The possibility, however remote, that someone might see. That someone might look over a fence or through a gap in the hedge and catch a glimpse of her like this, uninhibited and bare. The thought sent a pleasant shiver through her, equal parts shame and excitement. She'd never admit it to anyone, but sometimes she fantasized about it. About being seen, being watched, being desired, about someone finding her beautiful exactly as she was. Iris opened her eyes, looked at the gnome statue nearest to her, a female gnome with a sweet painted smile and a yellow hat. "You don't judge me, do you?" Iris said softly, like she sometimes did when she was alone. "You just sit there, happy that I exist. I wish real people were like that." She closed her eyes again, let the fantasy build. Someone watching her. Someone who thought she was beautiful. Someone who couldn't look away. Heat pooled low in her belly at the thought. "We don't judge," a voice said. "And you're more than beautiful, you're magnificent." Iris's eyes flew open. She sat up, arms instinctively crossing over her chest, heart hammering. There was no one there, just her garden, her gnomes, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. "Hello?" Her voice came out shaky. Movement near the rose bush. Something small stepped out from behind the flowers, and Iris's breath caught. It was a gnome. A real, living gnome, but nothing like her statues. This gnome was perhaps 18 inches tall, with a graceful, feminine figure. She wore a dress that seemed to be made from flower petals and moss, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders. Her eyes were bright and clever, her features delicate and lovely. And she was smiling at Iris with an expression that was part amusement, part nervousness, and part something that looked very much like desire. "I'm sorry," the gnome said, her voice melodic. "I didn't mean to startle you. Well, I did, but not badly. I'm Poppy." Iris grabbed her shirt and pulled it on with trembling hands. You can't be real, gnomes aren't real. We are actually. We're just very good at hiding." Poppy took a tentative step closer. "I live in your garden, have for about 3 years now since you planted the hawthorn tree. Perfect gnome habitat, hawthorns." Iris's mind was reeling. Magic was real, gnomes were real, and one had been living in her garden, which meant, oh my god. Iris's face flamed red. "You've been here the whole time, when I'm out here." Poppy had the grace to look somewhat sheepish. "This is my home, I live here. I don't spy on purpose, but yes, I've seen you, many times." Iris should have felt violated. Should have been angry, horrified, ashamed. Instead, she felt a bolt of heat shoot through her entire body. Someone had been watching. Her fantasy had been real all along. And the way Poppy was looking at her now, not with judgment or disgust, but with open appreciation. "I should go," Iris said, not moving. "I should, you've been watching me?" "I couldn't help it," Poppy said softly, taking another step closer. "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The way the sunlight catches on your skin. The way you look when you think you're alone, peaceful, powerful, free. I've been trying not to fall in love with you, but I failed spectacularly months ago." Iris stared. A gnome, a beautiful female gnome, had just confessed to watching her, being attracted to her, and falling in love with her. And Iris's body was responding in ways that made it very clear she wasn't upset about any of it. "I don't understand," Iris managed. You're magical and beautiful and perfect, and I'm just perfect," Poppy interrupted firmly. "You're perfect. Every curve, every inch of you. Do you have any idea how hard it's been, watching you touch your own body as if you hate it? Covering yourself like you're ashamed? You should never be ashamed." "People like me aren't supposed to," Iris started. "People like you?" Poppy's voice had an edge now. You mean women with curves, with softness, with breasts and hips and thighs that are real and beautiful and made for worship? She shook her head. Your human beauty standards are backwards. In gnome culture, we celebrate curves, abundance. You're what we consider the ideal. Iris's breath was coming faster. The way Poppy was looking at her, the things she was saying, why are you telling me this? Iris whispered. Because I couldn't stand it anymore. Watching you doubt yourself, pretending I wasn't here, I had to tell you. Poppy met her eyes. I had to let you know that someone has been watching you. Someone who thinks you're breathtaking. Someone who's been desperately wishing she could touch you. The confession hung in the air between them. Iris's whole body was tingling, a mix of exposure and desire, and the dizzying realization that her exhibitionist fantasy had been real all along. Iris's voice was barely audible. I've never been with a woman, I've thought about it, but I've never. I'm not asking for anything, Poppy said gently. I just wanted you to know, to understand that you're seen and appreciated and desired, that's all. But the way Poppy was looking at her suggested she might want more if Iris was willing, and Iris was surprised to discover that she was very, very willing. Over the next week, Poppy appeared every afternoon. She didn't push, didn't pressure, just talked to Iris while she gardened or read or lay in the sun. They discussed gnome culture, human culture, art and magic, and the strange beauty of the world. Iris learned that gnomes were deeply sensual creatures who appreciated beauty in all forms, that they found confidence more attractive than any specific body type, but they particularly loved curves and softness. That Poppy had been watching Iris not just because she lived in the garden, but because she genuinely couldn't look away. Tell me, Iris said one afternoon, feeling bold. What was it like? Watching me. Poppy was sitting on the armrest of Iris's patio chair, and she turned to look at her with those bright, knowing eyes. Torturous, wonderful. I felt like a voyeur, but I couldn't help myself. You'd lie there in the sun, and I'd hide behind the roses, watching, wishing I could touch you, wishing you knew someone was appreciating every inch of you. Iris's skin flushed. Did it? Did it turn you on? Every single time, Poppy admitted. There were days I had to retreat deep into the garden, too. Compose myself. Days I thought I might die if I couldn't tell you how beautiful you are. The honesty was intoxicating. Iris had spent her life hiding, and here was someone who'd seen her at her most vulnerable and wanted her because of it, not despite it. I used to fantasize about it, Iris confessed quietly. About someone watching. I told myself I liked the privacy, but really I wished the neighbors could see. Wished someone would catch me and think I was worth looking at. Poppy's expression turned hungry. You're an exhibitionist. Maybe. Iris bit her lip. Is that bad? It's magnificent. Poppy stood and walked across the armrest until she was closer to Iris's face. It means you understand how beautiful you are, deep down. You want to be seen, you want to be admired, there's nothing shameful about that. I want you to look at me, Iris breathed. I want you to watch me again, but this time I want to know you're there. Poppy's eyes darkened. Are you sure? Yes. Iris's voice was stronger now. Show me what it's like to be watched by someone who wants me. That evening, Iris lay on her blanket in the garden as the sun set. She'd removed her shirt slowly, deliberately, knowing Poppy was watching from the rose bushes. The thrill of it was electric, being seen, being desired, being watched with appreciation instead of judgment. This was her fantasy made real, and it was even better than she'd imagined. She let her hands roam over her own body's stomach, hips, breasts, touching herself the way she wished someone else would touch her. The way Poppy had said she wanted to touch her. Beautiful, Poppy's voice came from the shadows. You're so beautiful like this, Iris. Confident, powerful, do you feel it? Yes, Iris gasped. She did feel it. For the first time in her life, she felt desirable. May I come closer? Poppy asked. Please. Poppy emerged from the roses, walked across the grass to where Iris lay. Up close, Iris could see that the gnome's cheeks were flushed, her breathing quick. You're affected too, Iris observed. How could I not be? Poppy climbed onto the blanket and settled near Iris's hip. Watching you touch yourself, knowing you're doing it for me. I've never wanted anything more than I want you right now. Iris's hand trembled as she reached out to let Poppy climb into her palm. The gnome was warm, solid, real. I want to feel what you feel, Iris said. I want to understand what it's like when you look at me. Poppy's expression turned serious. I can show you, no magic, we can share sensations, share emotions. You'd feel exactly what I feel when I see you. But it's intense, Iris, very intimate. I want intimate, Iris said firmly. I want to feel desired the way you desire me. Please, Poppy, show me. Poppy nodded slowly. Lie back and trust me. Iris lay on the blanket, heart racing. Poppy climbed onto her stomach with permission and placed her small hands on Iris's bare skin. Poppy began to glow a soft, golden light that seemed to emanate from her entire being. Magic flowed from her hands into Iris, and suddenly Iris could feel it. Not physical sensation, but emotion. Pure, overwhelming emotion. Desire first. A warm, golden wanting spread through Iris's chest and down into her belly. This was how Poppy felt looking at her, like hunger and worship, and need all tangled together. Then appreciation. Awe at the curve of Iris's hip, the softness of her stomach, the weight of her breasts. Every part Iris had learned to hate, Poppy adored. Iris could feel it, undeniable proof that Poppy's attraction was real. The sensations intensified. Iris gasped as she experienced her own body through Poppy's senses. The way Poppy wanted to kiss every inch of her skin. The way looking at Iris made Poppy ache with longing. The way Poppy had spent months fantasizing about this exact moment. Do you feel it? Poppy's voice seemed to come from very far away. Do you feel how much I want you? Yes, Iris breathed. Oh God, yes. The magic deepened, became more physical. Iris felt warmth spreading across her skin like invisible hands touching her everywhere at once. Felt desire building in her own body in response to Poppy's desire. Felt beautiful, powerful, wanted in a way she'd never experienced. She was being worshipped, adored, seen exactly as she was and found perfect. Tears streamed down her temples as months of self-hatred cracked and fell away. In its place, a new understanding. She was beautiful, not despite her body, but because of it. Because of every soft curve and full line, the sensations built higher, more intense. Heat became need, need became desperation. Iris moaned, body arching, and the magic crescendoed into something overwhelming and perfect, and everything went white. When Iris came back to herself, she was shaking and breathless. Poppy sat beside her on the blanket, also trembling. That was... Iris couldn't find words. Gnome magic, Poppy said softly. Sharing sensation, it's how we express intimacy. How we make love. Was that us making love? Poppy's smile was shy. Beginning of it, yes, if you want more, there's so much more I can show you. Iris pulled herself up on her elbows, looked at the small, beautiful gnome who'd given her such an incredible gift. I want more, I want everything. Poppy's smile turned wicked. Then let's go inside, I have other tricks to show you. Other tricks? Poppy gestured to her pointed hat, the classic gnome accessory. This isn't just decorative, gnome hats are magical. They can enhance sensation, change size, adapt to specific needs. Understanding dawned on Iris's face. The hat could become a tool, could be used to bring pleasure, at Iris's size, with Poppy's guidance. Heat flooded her face. You mean? I mean, Poppy said carefully, that I can use my magic and my accessories to make you feel things you've never felt before if you want me to. Iris stood and scooped Poppy up gently. Show me everything. Over the following weeks, Iris's life transformed. Poppy became a constant presence teaching Iris about her body, showing her pleasures she'd never imagined. The gnome's magic allowed them to share sensation in both directions, so Iris could make Poppy feel pleasure too, despite their size difference. And the hat, the magical, versatile hat became something they both laughed about and appreciated immensely. But more than the physical intimacy, Poppy gave Iris confidence. She kissed every inch of Iris's body with reverence, celebrated her stretch marks as evidence of a body that had lived and changed, worshipped her soft stomach as the perfect place to rest her head, made Iris feel seen and desired and beautiful. Iris stopped hiding in oversized clothes, started wearing things that showed her curves, began sunbathing with her shirt off again, but this time with Poppy beside her, both of them enjoying the sun and each other's company. I never thought I'd fall in love with a garden gnome, Iris said one afternoon, trailing her finger along Poppy's tiny arm. Poppy laughed. I never thought I'd fall in love with a human who collected 43 ugly statues of my people. Those statues aren't ugly, they're charming. Iris picked up a nearby gnome statue and examined it. Though I'll admit they don't compare to the real thing. I should hope not. Poppy struck a pose. We're far more attractive than those painted caricatures. Iris set the statue down and lifted Poppy to eye level. I used to buy these because they made me feel less alone, like I had friendly faces that didn't judge me. And now? Now I have you, the real thing, better than any fantasy I could have imagined. Poppy leaned forward and pressed a tiny kiss to Iris's nose. You gave me something too, you let yourself be seen. Really seen. That's brave, Iris, that's beautiful. I always wanted to be seen, Iris admitted. I just never thought anyone would want to look. I'll look at you every day for the rest of our lives, Poppy promised, and I'll never get tired of it. 3 months after Poppy revealed herself, Iris decided to host a small garden party. Friends she hadn't seen in months, people she'd been avoiding because she couldn't bear their pitying looks or unsolicited diet advice. But she wasn't that person anymore. She wore a sundress that hugged her curves, showed her arms and shoulders and legs. No layers, no hiding, just her, exactly as she was. Her friends arrived and stared. Iris, her friend Mara said, eyes wide, wow, you look incredible. What happened? Iris glanced at her garden where Poppy was hidden among the roses, watching with pride and love. I guess I just learned to see myself differently, Iris said, smiling. I stopped listening to voices that told me I was wrong and started listening to someone who thinks I'm perfect. New boyfriend? Another friend asked. Iris laughed. Something like that. Someone very special who taught me that beauty comes in all forms. That being seen, really seen, is the most intimate gift you can give someone. The party was lovely. Iris laughed and talked and felt comfortable in her own skin in a way she never had before. And every time she glanced at her garden, she caught a glimpse of Poppy watching from the flowers, and her heart swelled with love. Later, after everyone had left, Poppy emerged. You were magnificent today, the gnome said, climbing up to sit on Iris's shoulder, their favorite position for talking. So confident. So beautiful, I learned from the best. Iris reached up and let Poppy settle into her palm instead. You showed me what it feels like to be desired, to be watched and appreciated. You made my fantasy real. Your fantasy was always real, Poppy corrected. I was always watching, always wanting you. You just didn't know it yet. Iris carried Poppy inside to the bedroom they now shared. The bed had a special alcove built into the headboard where Poppy slept, close enough to touch Iris but safe from being rolled on. Stay with me, Iris said, lying down. Forever. Poppy settled on Iris's chest, right over her heart. Forever sounds perfect, though I should warn you gnomes live a very long time. You're stuck with me for decades. Good. Iris's eyes were already closing, exhausted from the day but happy. I want decades. I want to spend every single day knowing someone sees me, knowing I'm beautiful, knowing I'm loved. You are, Poppy whispered, her own eyes closing. You're all of those things, you always were. I just helped you see it. Outside, the garden was quiet except for the rustling of leaves and the soft chirping of crickets. 43 garden gnome statues stood silent watch over the space where magic lived, where a lonely woman had found love in the most unexpected place, where being seen had become the greatest gift of all. And in the bedroom, 2 women, 1 human, 1 gnome slept peacefully, wrapped in magic and love and the perfect certainty that they were exactly where they belonged. The end. Thank you for listening to another Creatures of Desire story. Please like this video so that it gets recommended to more listeners. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more sapphic tales of fantasy and romance.